It's overcast here at the magnificent Österreich near Zeltweg, but there's prospect of a terrific race. Practice during 2 days of glorious weather was eventful, to say the least of it, with all the 24 starters qualifying faster than last year's lap record, including first-timer Nigel Mansell in his Works Lotus, a superb effort. But the real sensation has been the speed of the Renaults. René Arnoux in pole position was nearly 4 seconds inside his own lap record, over a second faster than the next quickest, his teammate Jean-Pierre Jabouille. Then the two Williams cars of Jones and Reutemann, with the Ligiers of Lafitte and Pironi 5th and 6th. Nigel Mansell, his first Grand Prix after a long slog to the top, including incidentally a broken neck. Start, and look at Alan Jones, he's passed Jabouille already, so is Pironi. Alan Jones goes up to the Hellenique curve and into the lead, past René Arnoux, and the Australian in the Williams leads on lap 1. Second, Pironi, third, Arnoux, fourth, Giacomelli, fifth is Jean-Pierre Jabouille, sixth is Reutemann, seventh, Piquet, and in 8th position, Derek Daly in the Tyrrell, and Jody Scheckter is last.
Well, that seemed to me a strange start for Lafitte there. He was very slow away, but it looked to me as if Reutemann just moved very sharply to the right in front of him, and maybe Lafitte had to stand on his brakes, because as I saw him go up the hill, he seemed to be going properly again. He just slowed down for a moment, so I reckon he got carved up a bit there.
So, over the crest and down to the Bosch curve, it's Alan Jones, then Arnoux, then Pironi, and Jabouille is up ahead of Giacomelli. Giacomelli in 5th place. Jody Scheckter, the world champion in the Ferrari, still last of the 24 starters.
Here we have a chance to again. Look at Reutemann, yes, moving over on the feet. Reutemann's just at the back of the picture there. The feet now, you see him going slowly. The field is swarming past him. I reckon he probably had to stamp on his brake pedal a bit, and of course that puts you well back at a nice crowded start like that.
Down towards the Jochen Rindt curve, almost at the end of lap 1. There is Piquet, behind Piquet, De Angelis, then Daly, then Rebac, and Lafitte coming up through the field, ahead of Jean-Pierre Jarier in the Candy Tyrrell. 1 lap completed, 53 laps to go. Jones has got the handling in the Williams, Arnoux has got the speed in the Renault, and the Renault handles very well, and this is where René Arnoux could make his challenge. He's got his right wing right out of the gearbox of the Williams, and he's through. He just powers past, literally drives past Alan Jones with no trouble at all, and Jabouille is closing up in 3rd position as Arnoux and Jones go round the Bosch curve together, and now look at how Arnoux is pulling away. Lap 3, and there's Giacomelli with Reutemann behind him, and behind Reutemann, Nelson Piquet. Giacomelli driving very, very well indeed. He's taken over the team leadership of the Alfa Romeo team after the tragic death of Patrick Depailler in practice for the German Grand Prix. There go the leaders. It's the 2 Renaults sandwiching the Williams. There's 4th Giacomelli, 5th Reutemann, 6th number 5 Nelson Piquet, 7th is Pironi. We are on lap 4 out of 54. They're the leaders, and now Jabouille's going to take Jones. It's going to be a Renault 1st and 2nd in a moment, and it is. Jabouille through with as little trouble as René Arnoux had. So now the 2 1.5-litre turbocharged 500 horsepower plus Renaults are very much in the lead, and they could almost cruise home. And this is the battle for 4th, and what a battle. Giacomelli driving like the veteran that he is not, because he hasn't been in racing all that long. Formula 2 European champion a couple of years ago, ahead of Reutemann and Piquet. Reutemann, the 2nd most experienced driver in the race, behind Emerson Fittipaldi, and Piquet's going to take him. Piquet drives through, takes 5th position from Reutemann. Now, is Piquet, the Brazilian, going to be able to close up on the Italian in front of him, Bruno Giacomelli? And one wonders as Mario Andretti gets out of the Lotus and looks inside with smoke pouring up from the engine compartment, how much longer he's going to stay in Formula 1. It's been an absolutely terrible season for him. Now, Giacomelli and Piquet virtually together, but where is the 6th place man behind them? There's just a flash of the car there as the Alfa Romeo goes over the crest. It's Giacomelli, and Piquet's going through with Reutemann behind. And Piquet, who has taken Reutemann, now moves up into 4th position. And that is the battle for 11th position, with Derek Daly leading Kiki Rosberg. Daly in the Tyrrell, running a little wide with Rosberg, and he's off. That's Derek Daly off, spinning backwards, and that's a barbed wire fence behind them. And he stopped just in the very nick of time.
Quite why they leave that wooden pole there on that fence there is really ridiculous, because it doesn't seem to be keeping anybody out from anything. And if he'd gone in forwards, that could have taken his head off.
And we hear that Carlos Reutemann has got past Giacomelli into 5th. Villeneuve is in the pits in the Ferrari, changing tyres as Pironi goes through into the pits. And the interesting thing is that Villeneuve uses the same make of tyre as the Renaults now. They've had tyre problems, and that's Alan Jones passing Arnoux. Alan Jones passing the man who was leading the race. So that must mean that Jean-Pierre Jabouille has got past Arnoux too, and into the lead. And there is Jabouille. Jabouille leading. He's lapped Patrese behind him, and Arnoux is in the pits. Presumably he had a puncture from the way he came in, but down goes the car, and René Arnoux is accelerating away, and he's lost 9 places. He rejoins the race in 10th place. And the interesting thing is that we know that René Arnoux is harder on tyres than the man you're looking at, number 15, the race leader Jean-Pierre Jabouille, as a result of which Arnoux started the race on a harder compound tyre than Jean-Pierre Jabouille, and one wonders therefore, since Villeneuve has been in, how Jabouille's tyres are going to last. And there's a terrific scrap going on there for the places after Alan Jones. There's Jody Scheckter. Piquet is now 4th, Reutemann is 5th, and Giacomelli is in 6th place. So Giacomelli has been displaced, and the battle now is very much between Reutemann and Piquet, and Reutemann goes through. Reutemann then up into 3rd position behind his teammates.
Looking at this again, it really does look to me as if Piquet was caught completely napping. You see, look, he's turning the corner. I don't think he thought that Reutemann was going to have a go at all. And that was a pretty uncharacteristic bit of opportunism by Reutemann.
And Giacomelli has retaken Piquet as they both lap Jody Scheckter. What a terrific race Giacomelli is driving. We look at Nelson Piquet in 5th position, ahead of Jacques Lafitte, who is in 6th place. How far behind is Lafitte? And there's the answer. Right behind Nelson Piquet. Now, Lafitte challenge, and they're both coming up and taking Giacomelli. So, Giacomelli goes down to 6th. Piquet is 4th. Lafitte is 5th as I talk to you. And Lafitte pushing very hard indeed, and Giacomelli must be in trouble.
But Murray, it's amazing. Jacques Lafitte, I think I must have been right about Reutemann carving him up at the start, probably inadvertently, but Jacques Lafitte has really driven a race like a man who felt very wronged at the start and is on a real adrenaline charge. He's really charged through this race, and he's pressuring very hard indeed now.
That's Giacomelli's car. He's been into the pits. He's had a new wheel put on. He obviously went out too soon, because that's the end of the pits road, and the wheel has come off, and Giacomelli's race is run. And Piquet, that's Lafitte ahead of Piquet. So Jacques Lafitte has got ahead of Nelson Piquet up into 4th position. Lafitte, the winner in Germany, is now well up in the World Championship points. His teammate Didier Pironi well out of the race. He's been into the pits and rejoined, and into the pits again. Lap 43, and Nigel Mansell is out in 13th position. And we've had news that when his car was topped up with fuel just before the race began, fuel was spilt down Mansell's back, so he must have been driving in absolute agony for nearly the full race distance, because this is lap 43. The Renault pit, they're ready for surely not Jabouille after Arnoux's tyre trouble. There is Jabouille leading the race.
His lead is being edged away, but it seems that it could be that he's controlling it, because he's letting it edge away at roughly the right rate to sort of finish the race in line astern with Jones, which would be a reasonable attitude to take if he's nursing tyres and, of course, this engine problem that's been worrying them, and they're keeping the revs down and trying to treat their engine as gently as possible, because they've got a valve spring problem that they're having trouble curing.
And Alan Jones certainly can't take him unless something goes wrong with the Renault in the very, very closing stages, and that would be cruel and bitter luck. He's into the last corner. Jabouille can see the checkered flag. Jones right behind him, getting closer but not close enough. Jabouille wins, and Jones is in 2nd place. and a fine and very well-deserved victory for the Frenchman. Well, in 2 weeks' time, it's round 12 of the 15-race 1980 World Championship, the Dutch Grand Prix, amidst the sand dunes at Zandvoort.